There we go. All right, here we go. First things first, name and
Okay.
title.
Lisa Rasmussen, Lisarasmussen, and I was elected City Council President this evening.
Anything different about this time than the last one?
Well, I've been the council president. This will be my 5th go as council president. I've been the council president 4 times before. Each time is different. Each council is different. Each mayor's office is different. It's a matter of trying to find some consensus and cooperation, find common ground, because that really is the only way you can move forward. I think that in all of these groups, there's usually more that we agree about than we disagree about. I think it's important to find some common ground right away in terms of, what issues are important to this council, what do they want to try to impact over the next 2 years, and really set some priorities, because that then helps us understand what that committee work needs to look like. Committee assignments came out tonight. The way those are structured, there's been a lot of change on those committees, and so that is going to cause a situation where members will be serving in areas they've not before. That is a great learning opportunity, I think, to understand what governs the work of those committees. There's different regulations and requirements. Our staff is certainly up to the challenge of educating those new committees rather. So I think that we will have a lot of opportunity to really just set that tone and really try to move Wausau forward. So.
Obviously, last time around, in the last 6, 7, 8 months or so, there was a lot of clashing on the city council at times. So I think that was something you probably really tried to address right away with your comments, saying, look, let's get together in the same room and, for lack of a better term, talk it out, right?
Right. Well, and it's just a matter of realizing what is important to everyone. Everyone has just come off the campaign trail. We've all heard from our neighbors, things that they would like to see happen, things that they don't like to see happen. One thing that I know from all of my experience here is what people don't like to see is chaos, constant conflict, and a total lack of progress. I mean, nothing can really hurt a council and an administration faster than working at odds with one another, because within local governments, if people are working so hard to spite one another that they can't move forward, we will not have any real success here. So, to try to, set that tone early, we try to stay positive. There should not be any debate or argument that happens in our chambers that's personal. We can certainly debate. We have some vigorous debate now. We don't all have to be best friends. We don't have to agree all the time, but we have to be professional and we have to work together. And I think if we can do that and we can learn how to compromise and, really do good homework, I think that we will come out the other side in a really good place.
Right.
So,
The old saying goes, if you want a friend in government, you get a dog, right?
well, and it isn't even that so much. It's just a matter of recognizing that this is a big job. Serving on the council is really a heavy lift. All of the financial decisions of the city, all of the policy decisions of the city happen in that chamber. And, they happen by majority vote. And so, at the end of the day, no one of us, no one person, no one mayor is going to wave a magic wand and solve all of the things that people are unhappy about. I mean, we all need each other to be successful. And, I think that one thing I found in those 4 prior stints as council president is if you can maintain that tone and just step back and, really be professional about how things are done, that's all we can ask. It's all we can ask is that people cooperate and try to work together. They don't have to agree. And when they disagree, you have to disagree as cooperatively as you agree. I mean, I really think that, whether or not we've had a ferocious debate and we've come out and there's winners and losers, we need to then let that go. The decision has been made. We move on to the next. And I think what you'll find is that within our councils, sometimes you'll see 2 members that will leave it all on the table. There will be a ferocious debate and they will fight one another right to the end of that vote. And then on the next agenda item, if they agree on that, they'll stand shoulder to shoulder and fight for something else together. And I think that's how it should work. If it's functioning properly, there shouldn't be animosity. There shouldn't be, camps chosen up for, this and that. I think that at the end of the day, we're 11 council members. There's an odd number of us for a reason. We seldom tie if everyone's here. That then, just causes us to just need to make good decisions and do the work. Like our musical partners said tonight, do the work.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. It's really about roll up your sleeves and dig in. There's plenty of work to do here. So.
Well, in your time then, is there like a specific example where you can look back on and say, I'm really proud that we were able to fight through this, and kind of then, now having lived through that, then, the second half of this can be like, well, now we've lived through this, we can get through this next part. What are your thoughts on that?
When I
aspect?
first came on the council in 2008, there was historic division on the council. There was 12 of us, and so there was often a situation where one person became a swing vote. There was conflict for the sake of conflict. It was very chaotic at first. Those first few meetings, I wondered what I had gotten myself into. But I will say also, I've served through times where lots of progress was made. Between 2016 and 2020, I served on the council as council president twice. At that time, we grew Wausau economically by over $200 million in taxable value. That's huge. And it really did put Wausau on the map in terms of growth. We were able to come together and work through some serious opportunities and come out the other side in a successful way. So, I've served through some historic tensions. We've had times where councils and the mayor's office, there was just constant division. They could not get along. And the staff was largely caught in the middle of that conflict because, at the end of the day, they work for department heads, they work for the mayor. We, though, are setting that policy and that economic tone. And so if we really are at loggerheads on a continual basis, they're caught in the middle of that, and it makes their jobs extremely difficult. And it makes our jobs extremely difficult. So I think that, to really build that rapport and make sure that we can work through those things before it all gets out of hand, there should be no such thing as a grudge in here. It can be spirited. We have spirited debate all the time, often in this very room. But, at the end of it, that's not why we're here. We're not here to fight one another. We're here to agree, disagree, and debate. But when the decision gets made, we move on and we go to that next issue that needs our attention.
I guess my last question, sounds like you got your first marching orders from the new mayor just now, talking about the, I guess he called it the live where you play or work where you play initiative to try and grow the tax base here in Wausau. So you just mentioned how much you were able to grow the city as far as tax base a few years ago. Obviously, is that first up on the agenda right now?
I think what's key to making that type of progress happen is that the committee work has to be sound. So if you want to work on infrastructure, our infrastructure and facilities committee has to be dialed in, and it has to be properly funded, which then brings our finance committee into play, brings our budgets into play. What do we prioritize? And so when we start with a draft budget, that process usually starts in July and August, and then the finance workshops take place in October. As we work through summer and fall, prioritizing the right things is going to be important. One thing that we find is that over 70% of our budget is largely HR based. And so, if you begin with the mindset that you are going to continue to employ everyone you employ, and that you are not going to cut services to taxpayers that they expect and that they appreciate, you then are left with some decisions in terms of capital spending and in terms of investments you make. So those are decisions that we will struggle with, but I think we'll make them ultimately by the time we draft a budget. As far as a marketing initiative, I think it's important that we know who we are and where we want to go in terms of marketing. Alder Neal's comments were very insightful. He's a marketing person, he gets that. So I think that, we don't just roll out a marketing initiative on day one, but I think there's room to develop the fact that if people are visiting Wausau, they absolutely may also find that they want to live in Wausau. But we have to create a climate and a sense of place where people want to be here. That's the thing. And chaotic government does not attract new residents. So, on the government end, we have to function, and we have to function well. Just so that every headline that you see is not constant conflict between either the 11 of us or us and the mayor or us and the staff. We all need to be, like I said, pushing in the same direction and at least working for some of those same outcomes so that we can be successful. So.
All right, I'm good.
You said it better. All right, I think I'm good then.
All right,
Okay.
awesome.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Thank you.